We gotta be there for our kids now more than ever.
Yeah, Kelsey. That's something that the kids do need.
Hello, friends. It's Mary, and welcome back to Sister Wives Daily. I hope you all had a quiet and restful weekend, besties. Today's recap is going to be slightly different, more emotional, more introspective, and yes, heavier. Having viewed season 19, episode 25, I've made a personal choice. This is the first time I will not be adding any clips to my recap. Why? Because something about sharing those moments doesn't sit right with me. The episode contained an emotional farewell, Garrison's graveside service, and while it was moving, it also felt deeply private. TLC aired the moment they placed his urn in the ground. As intimate and beautifully done as it was, it felt invasive to spread that further. So, out of respect, I'm keeping those visuals off this channel. But there's still so much to unpack in this episode. Things that occurred before and after the funeral that tell us a lot about the dynamics of the family. Let's discuss that, because what occurred off the gravesite was just as revealing. Right from the start of the episode, it was evident that Janelle and Christine were united, flanked by a number of their children. Not all were there. McKelty and Tony, for example, didn't show up at all. Perhaps their absence was because they'd recently moved to North Carolina. Other than them, most of the rest of the children did appear. Logan showed up on camera, although he didn't say anything. Hunter, too, wasn't among the scenes when the family went fishing. Gabriel was included, as were all of Christine's children, save McKelty. Leon and Audrey were also there, and having them with the rest of the siblings meant a great deal. What struck me most was just how openly devastated they were, a raw pain that imbued the moment with more depth. This is where things get emotionally complicated. Garrison's death did not build a bridge back to Kody, not on your life. In fact, the distance between Kody and the rest of the family was more apparent than ever. At the funeral, the family literally stood in two parts: Kody and Robyn with her kids, excluding Dayton, on one side and everybody else on the other. No interaction, no acknowledgement, no attempts at reconciliation, just silence and separation. Janelle said something profound, that this tragedy had brought back to mind what really mattered to her children, to Christine's children, and even Mary's. In the face of long-standing rivalries, most of the siblings have begun reconnecting. They're calling one another more, talking more, checking in. It's not a complete healing, but it's a beginning. A renewed sense of family among the original children, with the exception of Robyn's, who had stayed entirely apart throughout the episode. And that's something I really appreciated. This episode, for once, felt more even. It provided thoughtful space for Janelle and Christine's families, those who really knew and cared for Garrison. They were allowed the space to think, to mourn, and to have their feelings. It wasn't ideal. There were still moments that felt too much like intrusiveness, but there were also real moments of grounding and support between Christine and Janelle. And weird as it may seem, this episode made me reconsider Christine's husband, David. I didn't believe him at first, but, I'll be truthful. When Christine first brought David around, I was skeptical. I wasn't certain if his motives were true, if he was actually doing this for the right reasons. But seeing the way he stood by her during this unthinkableness, it shifted everything. David is good. He's not only Christine's support system, he's adopted her kids with the same strength and devotion. The bond he shares with Truly is especially heartwarming. It's like he's always been a part of this family, and I'm just so relieved Christine has someone like him to lean on. After everything she's been through, she truly deserves that kind of unconditional support. And it's not only Christine drawing strength from her partner, Janelle, too, is loved around her. Her sons have come through in a big way. You can see them rallying around her, holding her up despite their own grieving. There's something softly powerful about the way they're shielding her, just being present and reliable. It's moments like these that show us what true family love really looks like, even in the face of loss. But the estrangement with Kody could not be more evident. There was no interaction at all between him and Janelle in the course of the service, except a brief instant at the graveside when she handed him Garrison's urn, which he buried. That was it. Even during the funeral proper, they were seated separately, had separate conversations, and shared not a word. What actually stood out to me, however, was the response of a few of the children during Kody's words. A couple of them wouldn't even glance up. Heads were bowed, eyes cast down. It really seemed like they were zoning him out, as though his words no longer carried influence for them. It felt staged, like they could see right through it. I am going to be honest. I wish the burial wasn't broadcasted. Some things are just too personal, too sacred to be aired publicly. But towards the end of the show, there was one exchange that hit a chord with me, one between Madison and Leon. Madison said she felt sorry for Kody, sure, but more so, she said, she felt sorry for his kids. She didn't even say Robyn's name. That felt like a deliberate omission, and it says a lot. The pain and alienation obviously derive from the way that Kody interacted with his original children, not simply as a father, but as a partner and presence within their lives. Madison continued to reveal something very insightful, that if she had the chance to speak with Robyn's children, she'd apologize if she ever hurt them, if she made them feel like outsiders or unwanted. And Leon similarly stated that he wished he could speak with them too. That simple request, to just be able to have a conversation, rang forcefully. Why has it gotten so out of reach? Why are these siblings, who were once members of the same family, so far apart now? This is more than teen drama or disagreements over trifles. It looks intentional, poisoned, and the thread that runs through it, Kody and Robyn. It's as if their presence erected this unseen barrier between two groups of siblings, those of the original three wives and Robyn's kids. There's a sense of aching tension at work, the haves and the have-nots. Kody and Robyn on one side, fine-looking, buttoned down, placid, like they're going to a black tie affair. In contrast, Janelle, Christine, and their kids appeared in a less formal, more sincere manner, dressed in attire that spoke to who Garrison was. That was not a merely visual contrast. It was a profound difference in values, connection, and loss. And it raises the question, what have Kody and Robyn told their children that's led to this total breakdown in communication? These are grown-ups. They can call, but somebody, is holding that back. And many of us think it's deliberate, because if the siblings reunite, speak openly, and share stories, the truth will be revealed. And that truth could not be flattering for Kody or Robyn. Robyn, in particular, has a past of redirecting her own sense of rejection and trauma onto her children. She's had the story all along that she was treated poorly by the families of the first three wives, and now her children have that same chip on their shoulders. But was it ever truly theirs to bear? And that's the part that really gets me. It's like, they don't like me, so they don't get to have a relationship with my kids. That's the vibe. It's heartbreaking. The OG3 kids, Christine's, Janelle's, and Mary's, they struggled for years to adjust to this blended family dynamic, and they had to do it all under the scrutiny of television cameras. That alone was a massive burden. And then, when Kody more or less vanished into another life with Robyn and her children, it only increased the pain. The hurt did not seethe. It festered through years of indifference, quiet, and isolation. And even now, at Garrison's funeral, there was no bridge repaired, no fences mended, no talk between Kody and his other kids, only him speaking to Robyn's children, only them. It was glaringly clear. If you're a father, if you've just lost a son, how do you not go to the children who were the closest to him? How do you not go over, hug them, mourn with them, say, I'm sorry, I screwed up, I could have done better? How do you not at least make the effort? Even during this time of deep loss, there was no effort to make amends, no recognition of mistakes of the past, no apparent remorse indeed, only silence and distance. And when Mykelti stated that there were certain behaviors on her part during this period that caused her to pull away even farther, I believe that this is precisely what she was referring to: the emotional withholding, the avoidance, the performative mourning. It seemed like Kody was performing for the cameras, because when he actually had his chance, up close and personal, in the moment, to let his kids know he cared about them, he didn't. And perhaps some of the kids don't care to see him anymore. That's okay. But as a dad, you still try. You still make an appearance. And he just didn't. There was the one exception that I observed: Logan. He went over to Robyn and her children, Brianna and Aurora, and hugged them. That's what Logan does. He's always been the peacekeeper, the one attempting to keep the shattered pieces intact. But aside from that single action, the separation stood clearly agonizing. And then Tim, Kody's brother-in-law, ranch owner, delivered a eulogy of sorts. More a sermon, actually. He addressed the loss a mother feels in losing a child, the need to mend fences and shed pride. It was a moving message, one that seemed aimed at all those people in that dysfunctional family. But then he said something that lingered with me in the wrong manner. No one will ever understand the remorse of a father. And I don't know. Did Kody get him to say that? Was that Tim's attempt at trying to garner sympathy for Kody? Because here's the thing: if there's remorse, demonstrate it, vocalize it, act upon it. Don't just insert a line into a eulogy and expect everyone to believe that you're heartbroken when your actions say otherwise. Maybe Tim hoped it would help soften the hearts of the other kids. Maybe he wanted to open the door to reconciliation. But for me, it didn't land. Not because remorse isn't real or possible, but because it wasn't backed up by anything Kody actually did. Generally speaking, I'll say this: TLC did an improvement with this episode than I had anticipated. It seemed a bit more realistic, more respectful of the severity of what was transpiring. Robyn hardly appeared at all in the episode, and even then, her appearances were subdued, distant. She never showed any feeling regarding Garrison. No outward grief. It wasn't "we laid our son to rest." It was "Kody brought his boy home." And truly, if you're going to be a stepmom, particularly in a family this large and blended, you have to look at his children as your children too. But what do I know? Now I want to hear from you. What did you guys think about this episode? Did it get to you? Did it make you cringe? And how do you feel about this continued divide in the Brown family? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.